Hello, everyone. This is Alexander from the Code Maestro team. I want to share with you an interesting case from my work, which is happening right now. I have a game on my screen. It's a network fighting game, quite a complex project, and pretty well written. It uses GGPO netcode to implement rollback, which ensures deterministic playback for both players. It has two interesting features that we'll discuss further. The first is for storytelling, which includes dialogues between players. They can threaten each other, joke, and deliver various lines during the match. The second system is standard for such games but is quite complex to implement: match recording and playback. Let's take a look at how these systems are implemented in the game. I asked Code Maestro how the dialogue system is implemented, and it provided me with a fairly detailed description, as you can see on the screen. Here are the key components. The full workflow is described, key features, and an example of usage. I won't go into detail about the dialogue system, as the most interesting part is coming up. The next question I asked was how the match replay system is implemented. Here, it provided a similar description to the previous one. Key components of the system, the purpose of methods, the purpose of the main fields are visible on the screen. The match recording process is described in detail. The match replay process and key features of this system. I noticed there was no mention of dialogues in the recordings, and I asked Code Maestro about it, and it confirmed that yes, indeed, dialogues are not played back during the match. I found this strange, as dialogues are a significant part of the game experience, and it would be disappointing if something interesting or funny happened in the game, but it wasn't present in the replay. So I asked Code Maestro to help me implement dialogue recording and playback during match replays for this game. It went through the code and found everything I needed to do for this. Let's take a look. First, it suggests extending the data structure for storing the replay, adding dialogues for the first and second players by creating an appropriate structure for this. Excellent. Then it suggests modifying the dialogue system for event recording. For this, during the start of a dialogue, record the frame number in the dialogue itself that began. Next, a method needs to be implemented called Record Dialogue and Replay Manager, according to the description and code. So far, everything looks great. The next step is modifying the dialogue playback system. That's also logical. During the system update, we should play the dialogue if it exists there. Let me explain a bit. The fact is that everything is played back frame by frame, and each frame will check in the recording if a dialogue started in that frame, and if it did, we'll play it. That's how it should work. This is roughly how all other replays in the game are implemented, according to what we saw in the previous response, and the actual dialogue playback method for the first and second players. Then it suggested adding another small method to the dialogue class itself, which will open the dialogue not from scratch, as it happens during the match itself, but with data from our replay data structure. Excellent. All that's left is to learn how to save and load replays with dialogue data, using this method as an example. That concludes the refactoring. Now, in just about 15 minutes, I received a full instruction on how to implement a very useful feature in a complex system of a previously unfamiliar project. Code Maestro did about 80% of the work for me, and all that's left for me is the most interesting part: playing the fighting game, watching replays, testing how my system works, and of course, creating a pull request. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.